This week we're looking at number 7 in the series on Galatians for the third quarter 2017, and this one is entitled The Road to Faith. And of course we're looking at Galatians chapter 3, in particular verses 21 to 25. And the whole idea is that the law is the road that leads us to faith in Jesus Christ. We have a road right here going somewhere, but the whole point of a road is that the road is not the destination, it is the way. And Jesus said, I am the way, the truth and the life. He takes us to where we need to be, which is to be with God for all eternity. So as we start thinking about the law, which is supposed to keep us on what you might say is the straight and narrow, this is reasonably straight and it is quite narrow, keeps us on the straight and narrow, on the pathway, going in the right direction, but it doesn't get us to where we need to be by itself. It just points us in the right direction. It is the means, as it were, of travel, but it's not where you want to be. So this is why Paul is writing and explaining that though the law is good, it's simply the road, the means to getting there. And once we think about that, then we begin to understand what he's really talking about. He's talking truly about the road to faith. Faith, of course, is trusting God. Here's some quotes for you for this time. Faith is the art of holding on to things your reason has once accepted in spite of your changing moods. You know, it doesn't depend on what you feel like. It's your deep, abiding trust in God. As the famous schoolboy saying says, faith is believing what you know ain't so. No, that is not true. It is knowing what you know is true because you've trusted in God. In Galatians chapter 3, Paul is writing and saying, if you belong to Christ, then you are the descendants of Abraham and will receive what God has promised. The law is not against the promise, as he makes very clear in Galatians 3. It's the fulfillment of the promise in the sense that it's guiding you towards the promise, and the one who's making the promise, of course, is God himself. For we are not saved for believing, but by believing, as Thomas Taylor says, by putting our trust in God, by truly believing in him, taking the road to faith, by saying, okay, let's look at the way that we should be going. Let's look at this pathway, understand that it's taking us to fuller, deeper, and more committed trust in God. May God bless you now as you study into Galatians chapter 3. Read it again and say, what is it saying to me? How does it lead me to a deeper, more abiding faith in God? How do I trust in him more?